do you believe in that?
Well, I believe in the small of a woman's back, the hanging curveball, high fiber, good scotch, and I believe in long, slow, deep, soft, wet kisses that last for 3 days.
Oh my.
Welcome to Movie Matters. I'm Kevin.
I'm Jake.
And we're in person together. This is fun. And today we're doing the, 1988 film Bull Durham.
Yep.
First time seeing it, right, Jake?
Yeah, first time. This is another one that I did not know what to expect.
Same.
And was kind of weirded out.
I didn't like it. I really didn't like the movie.
I didn't care for it much either.
Yeah. And it's like interesting because it's like super, like everyone loves it. And it's rated super high. Like IMDb, it's like a 7 something, like 7 or 7.2, which is high in my opinion.
Yeah.
And like if you look at all like the user reviews, it's rated high.
Yeah. I know you had really wanted this on the list.
Yeah.
Because you had heard from a lot of people that it was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, I guess it's not to us though. But I always thought that Kevin Costner's character was named Bull Durham.
Same.
And that's why the movie was called that.
Yeah.
But
there's no one named Bull Durham in the movie.
No.
It's the Durham Bulls.
Yeah.
Is the name of the team. So yeah, that was very unclear to me right from the get-go. I was like waiting for maybe the team owner who's mentioned a few times to be named Bull Durham, but no. You don't even see the team owner.
No. And it's a minor league team,
Yeah.
but it gave me Major League vibes, the movie Major
Yes.
League that we watched.
Yeah.
It's very similar. Like there's a lot of similar characters, and I think Major League is 10 times better than this movie though.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same type of arc as Major League and The Natural, where there's a shitty team, somebody joins the team and helps rally them to become better. Though this movie's much more specifically about the pitcher, played by
Tim
Robbins.
Yeah.
Which was a kind of pleasant surprise.
Yeah,
I had
I
no
agree.
idea he was in it. And
Same.
he's like super young in it. Which
Yeah,
is
he's
funny.
really young. And this is the movie that him and Susan Sarandon met on, and they're married in real life, which is interesting. I like the contrast of Tim Robbins' character and Kevin Costner's character, where he's kind of, Tim Robbins is the rookie and Kevin Costner is the pro who went pro for like a week, for 21 days or whatever he says. And he's the smart character, Kevin Costner, and then Tim Robbins is like the idiot.
He's like the hotshot rookie who's got like natural talent, but can't focus it and hone it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Costner's the guy who's like worked his whole life to be in like the A League, minor team, and
barely got a taste of it.
Barely got up to the majors, for it to be like ripped away. But he's like the mentor.
Yeah, which I like that role.
Yeah.
But like, you almost don't know who's the main character in the movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially when you throw in Susan Sarandon, who's narrating most of the movie.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's definitely like the way I thought of the movies. It's kind of like schizophrenic a lot of the time. It's hard to like. It's just trying to do too much.
It is. Like. There's a lot going on, and like I didn't like Susan Sarandon's character. Like she's just kind of like hoeing herself out there a bit.
Yeah. I found her character entirely unnecessary for the main like baseball story. Like she's totally unneeded, which is odd because again she's the narrating character of the movie, and one of the most central characters to the overall plot. But like I feel like that storyline didn't really end up adding much.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, she's basically a groupie.
Yes.
And her whole like character is just, I sleep with one of the baseball players that come per year, and like I just hang out with them, and then that's it. I have my little fling during the season.
Well, and that player, she says, has like the best year of their life.
Yeah.
Like stats wise and stuff. Which is interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, well, it was interesting that she gets together with Tim Robbins' character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I thought she was going to get together with Kevin Costner, and that was like my whole understanding of like, that's what the movie's going to be about. And
right.
I mean, they don't get together until the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting.
Like the credits are rolling and they
basically have a fuck fest, which is interesting in a baseball movie. But Ron Shelton directed this movie. He's done a couple other good movies that I like. But he had a hard time convincing the studio to direct it. At this time, like in the late 80s, baseball movies weren't really making a ton of money. And so they were like, all right, well, we'll give you $9 million. And they gave him complete creative freedom, which is pretty interesting, especially like in our time now where they don't do that at all. So I think he did a good job. I think the direction was good. But I don't know. It like you said, it was kind of schizophrenic. It was like all over the place.
Yeah, it's not that like the script writing wasn't bad,
which it was nominated for an Oscar for it.
Yeah, which I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Like the acting was good. It's just like I said, they tried to cram too many plot strings into the movie, and like I don't know off the top of my head how long it was, but it felt like maybe like the classic hour and a half.
It was longer than that.
Minutes. Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure it was like an hour and 40 something.
That's still not terribly long.
Yeah.
But like the amount of stuff that they crammed into this movie, it felt like it could have been like a 3-hour movie.
Hour 48.
So, yeah. I mean, it was. I think my biggest criticism is that a lot happens in the beginning and a lot happens at the end, and in between is basically just like an hour-long baseball montage of Tim Robbins and Costner like playing baseball and like Tim Robbins starting to get better. Which like if that was the movie, like cool.
Agreed.
But then they tried to like cram all this other crap in that like bookends it in a weird way, and like I don't. It's just like it's weird. It's weirdly structured.
And comparing it, and I agree, and I like comparing it to the movies we've watched, the baseball movies we've watched this month. All of them are like, we're trying to win something,
right?
And there's not that goal in this movie at all.
No, and like not even like I don't even think Tim Robbins mentions like directly that he wants to go up to the majors that season.
He like didn't even care, I feel like.
Yeah, like it's odd because I mean this was his rookie season on a A-League team, which is the lowest minor league team in the minors, and like there's just no big goal, like I mean I'm like kind of blown away because I just realized that, and maybe that's why it's so
like we don't connect to it as much.
Directionless.
Yeah,
like it's just kind of, I feel like they tried to anchor it to the love story thing, and that's just not good enough.
Especially with her again going to like being with Tim Robbins the whole like 90% of the movie. Yeah, which was again, it was like interesting because the whole movie she doesn't even want to be with him really.
No, and like she says that she's the reason why the players that she gets with perform so well on the field. But it's not until he stops sleeping with her that he starts getting really good. And then it's all Kevin Costner basically coaching him to be a better player.
And he's also kind of jealous, and he's like, don't like continue that streak of not sleeping with her.
Right.
Which is interesting.
Which I mean was fine. But at the end, like that didn't really, nothing came of that in a consequence either. Like I feel like there's a lot of like little subplots like that just had no consequence, and like
like
might have been good for like a little bit of comedic comedic payoff, but besides that, like, not
even
necessary.
The subplot with the other girl, like Millie.
Yeah.
Like, and how she marries the, like, super religious baseball player.
Yeah.
Like, that was completely pointless.
Right.
And, like, not needed at all.
Now, like, in the context of something like Major League, I could see that being, like, a gag, right? But, like, they didn't even play it that well as a gag.
I didn't even, like... Is this supposed to be a comedy or a drama? Like, I don't even know.
It's pretty... it rides the fence pretty hard.
Yeah.
Both of those.
It's interesting. I mean, we've talked about it in our other reviews, and this is an aspect I liked of the movie, because I'd like to say something positive about it, is the baseball like scenes are very well done. All these movies we've watched have had good baseball scenes. I mean, Kevin Costner is an athlete, and he played baseball in high school, and there's that scene where he's in the batting cages with Susan Sarandon, and he just like has the baseball bat in one arm, and just the pitching machine pitches it, and he just hits it with one hand, which was awesome. Yeah, like super cool, and like that wasn't edited in a weird way where it was like fake. He actually did it, which was impressive.
I also like Tim Robbins' wind up
for pitching.
Yeah, for pitching is awesome because it's like really weird and like kind of fits his character because he's this like.
He's also like super tall. He's like 6'5".
Well, it's like a weird like because he like leans all the way back and then looks away from the plate.
Yeah,
and then
it's weird.
Throws. So it gets kind of a. I don't know. It's cool because lots of pitchers do quirky things like in their wind-ups, and it kind of adds like a little bit of cool detail that like
adds to his character,
makes it more realistic. And
yeah.
I mean, you can see like he's actually throwing the ball most of the time. Like he's not throwing it fast because you can see the ball's not really moving that fast, but at least he's throwing it. And like, we talked about how Major League, pretty much everybody was actually playing. I think The Natural was pretty
natural,
real, as well. League of Their Own didn't really focus enough on.
Did you watch it?
Oh, God, I'm mixing it up with Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams,
because we were supposed to watch it.
That was 90s.
Yeah, no. Field of Dreams didn't really focus enough on baseball to be like, something's actually happening. The few scenes where there was baseball stuff happening looked decent.
Yeah. Well, Ron Shelton, the director of this movie, he also wrote it. He was a minor league baseball player, and he in real life, and he used his experience to like. Obviously, he wrote the story. So,
well, that was the director of Major League was a big baseball fan. Yeah. So he put the effort in to make it real. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, again, like I said, this was Shelton's directorial, like he had a hard time getting it made because a lot of studios didn't want to do it. They even had issues of him casting Tim Robbins. They wanted Anthony Michael Hall, which I couldn't see that at all personally. And yeah, so I like, there's a good line that's a very classic 80s line that Costner says, which going back to his name, it's not Bull Durham, it's Crash Davis, which is a super badass name in my opinion, where he says, "I'm too old for this shit." It's one of his first lines, and that's obviously, Lethal Weapon. And it's said in a lot of 80s movies, so I like that 80s trope from this particular film. I feel like that's the only 80s trope in this movie, really. It's doesn't feel 80s.
It's not anchored in the 80s. It's not like there's nothing that like it could easily have been later if you didn't know how old the actors were today.
Well, speaking of that, Tim Robbins was 30 and Costner was 33 when filming this movie.
Oh shit.
Which is like, that's our age basically. They don't look our age. I feel like I'm a child compared to these people.
Well, Tim Robbins looks pretty young.
Yeah.
Like he passes, in my opinion, in the movie for like a 22-year-old or like just out of college and like, starting to play baseball.
I could see that.
Costner looks maybe in his definitely in his 30s. I should
in his
say.
30s for sure, but not but not like super young. Like I think even older than 33, I'd say.
Yeah. But, which if he's, 33's. Well, I guess they don't say that he's ever had game-ending injuries or anything like that. So, 33 is not that old for baseball.
True. But Susan Sarandon was 42 when she filmed this.
I could see that.
I could see that too. She didn't look old, but
but 42, I had a feeling she was much older than Tim Robbins.
Yeah, I mean, that's 12 years difference. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at her now, compared to when this movie came out, she's significant. She's very, I don't know. She's old now.
You're not supposed to say that with women, Jake.
Yeah, but I mean,
can't say their age.
But you have to, if you did the math, guessing, it's obvious that she wasn't as young as she's portrayed in the movie.
I mean, it's almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So she's in her 70s for sure.
Yeah.
There's some cool trivia I found with Kurt Russell in this movie.
Really?
Yeah. And obviously Kurt Russell is like a classic 80s badass, which we need to watch some of his movies.
Yeah.
The Thing, Escape from New York. We'll get to him for sure. And Big Trouble in Little China is classic. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, yeah. We got to watch that. Kurt Russell helped Ron Shelton developed the script and was originally supposed to play Crash.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
Yeah. But and obviously Costner got the role, but after the film was made, Russell was so impressed with the movie that he actually wrote letters to Costner and Shelton saying how much he loved it, which is super cool. So Kurt Russell also played in the minor leagues in the 70s, which I had no idea about. And
so how fucking old is he?
He's old too.
Yeah,
he's old too.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's gonna be sad. No disrespect to all these old people, but it's gonna be sad when they go. They're icons for sure.
Croaking soon.
Yeah, hopefully not. They're cool people. Yeah, I mean the fight. One scene I do love in the movie is like the fight scene where they're fighting over Susan Sarandon in the beginning, and they go outside and Tim Robbins is gonna fight Kevin Costner, but Kevin Costner's like, all right, well, I'm not gonna fight you. Why don't you just throw the ball and hit me right in the chest? He's like, I bet you couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat, which is a classic joke. And obviously he misses the pitch, and then I almost said Kurt Russell again. Kevin Costner just clocks him in the face, which is awesome. He's like, damn, that was a good punch.
Yeah.
I love all that. And then they kind of tie into the end where Costner's in the bar kind of drunk and Tim Robbins hits him in the face. And he's like, did you hit me with your pitching hand? No. He's like, good. All right, you're learning.
Yeah.
I love all these little life lessons he's trying to give him. Mm-hmm. Even though he's kind of washed up. Yeah, it's I don't think I'm ever going to watch the movie again. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I don't know. I could understand why some people would like it. I just personally did not, to the extent where I would watch it more than once. And
I think there's a good movie in there because, like I said, some of these scenes, like the fight scene, the batting cages, the rain out scene, which in my opinion should have been played out even more, of them kind of, turning the sprinklers on in the field and trying not to play the next day because they wanted to just have fun and get drunk. Mm-hmm. I think that was a cool scene, which that was apparently based on an actual event in the late 60s. And from Ron Shelton, he basically did the same thing and turned the sprinkler systems on, but they took a helicopter and dried the field off with a helicopter, which is insane. I want to see how that's done.
Yeah.
There's some other good trivia where there's a scene where I was kind of confused by it, and I don't know if you noticed this, but Susan Sarandon, when she's kind of announced or like taking score and stuff, she's in a black veil. Did you notice that?
No.
There's a scene where she has it, and apparently there's a cut scene where Max Patkin dies. It's the goofy clown guy in the beginning doing all the dances and stuff. He dies, and they shot a scene for that, but they cut it. but she's still in her like funeral outfit, which is interesting. Okay. I noticed that, and I was like, why is she in like a black veil? That's weird.
Yeah.
So, there's also like the good scene I like where Kevin Costner is, he supposedly misses the tag at the home plate.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, he completely got him.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, the guy didn't even touch home plate, literally.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was so annoying. But yet, it was funny because he calls the umpire a cocksucker, which was hilarious.
And gets tossed.
Yep. Yeah. Another 80s point. So, I'd say another 80s, like, specific, like, the saxophone use in this movie.
Yeah.
Is really funny, and that's very 80s.
Yeah, I take that back. That's probably the only thing that really dates the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much all the trivia I got. What do we think out of all these movies we watched? Because this is the last baseball movie. What was your favorite?
I like Major League a lot. Yeah. The Natural is a really close second.
Oh, okay. So Major League's number 1, Natural's number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I said this in the Natural review that I've seen that movie so many times and I love it. I'm gonna go with Major League too as my favorite, and I think just because I've seen only parts of it and seeing it, I basically saw it for the first time in our viewing, and I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it, and I was so surprised by it. I think that's the best baseball movie of the 80s that we've watched so far. We might get some more in the future. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. If we don't pick 90s movies again.
Yeah. We'll make that mistake again, I'm sure. Even though the 90s are cool, I definitely want to do Terminator 2 and Total Recall. And those are all 90s.
We might cheat a little bit.
Yeah. We'll maybe have a month where we take a little hiatus. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, Major League, I'd say, was the best. Definitely followed by the Natural. Field of Dreams and Bull Durham.
I appreciate Field of Dreams for what it is.
Agreed.
It's a good movie. Watch it once, know that it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Good. Maybe same with this one. Like, I don't want to say I could have lived without it. It's a little harsh.
I could have, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm always glad I watch a movie just because then it's like, oh, I've seen this.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that like my time was wasted watching this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So what next week we're gonna do Running Man.
Yes.
With Schwarzenegger, which
that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Because we both got the like new 4K.
Yeah. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I've only seen it once recently, and
it's another one I've never seen. So
I'm excited. It'll be good. So we're getting back into it. I'm ready to get to more kind of mixing the variety of genres throughout the month as opposed to sticking to one. But
yeah, we've got an interesting lineup coming up. I think we're action, comedy, horror.
Yeah, we want to try and kind of
sci-fi,
have some variety.
So
yeah, which we're definitely excited for. Hopefully you guys are too that are listening, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the baseball season and you enjoyed this month of baseball movies. We'll catch you next week.
See you.